If you dated a girl once and then broke up with her, and then she got with someone new, and then she didn't tell them about your past together, would you still let those two get married in your backyard? G'day there guys, it's your main man Markee, and welcome back to another episode of r/AmITheA. Now, if you love today's weird, wonderful content, I want you to sit back, relax, chuck a prawn at that Barbie, and get ready for some bloody good stories. Let's go. Am I the asshole for not letting my best friend have her wedding on my property after being uninvited? So one of my best friends, Carla, is getting married soon. It's only meant to be a small backyard type of wedding, but they've been planning it for a few months now, and originally it was supposed to be on my property. They wanted it because it's private, has lots of open space for the reception, a nice view, and the house could be used for them to get ready and stuff. Of course, I said yes, and she and her fiancé Rick were very happy. The thing is, Carla and I do have a history. We went out on and off in college, but decided to stay friends. Then I met my wife, we got married, Carla met Rick, and now here they are. Now, my wife knows that I went out with Carla back in college, and she didn't care. Carla still went to our wedding and everything, and I never knew if Rick was told or not. It's not my relationship, therefore not my business to say anything, so I never did. Rick found out recently, and not in the best way. I'm not sure how, but from what I heard from friends, is that one mutual friend told him, no idea why, that we used to date. Not only that, but apparently Carla said a couple years ago she was still in love with me, while she was already dating Rick. Don't have actual confirmation if that's exactly what he was told. All Carla told me is that Rick was told about our past, and he's angry at her for never saying anything. It became quite a drama, and I didn't hear from her for over a month until now. She told me they're going to couples counseling and that the wedding is still on, but Rick requested that I not attend. It sucks, but I totally get why he wouldn't be comfortable. Then I asked the obvious question, where are they going to hold the wedding then? To my surprise, she said she still wants it at our place. Rick said so too, and in my mind I'm going, he doesn't want the guy who dated his fiancée years ago at the wedding, but still wants the wedding at his house. My wife and I are expected to just not be at our home that weekend? And I told Carla no. They're going to have to find someplace else, since we're not going to simply leave our home for them for the weekend. Not only for safety reasons, but it just doesn't make sense. Rick doesn't want me around because he's not comfortable, but is comfortable enough to have the wedding at my house. They really want their wedding here though, and because of that, I've been bugged by not only her, but also Rick, and some friends that think I'm being a petty asshole for not letting them have the wedding here anymore. Honestly, don't think that I am. It just doesn't make sense at all to have to leave our own place for a wedding that we're no longer welcome to, and leaving our home totally vulnerable. Still, I'm being accused of sabotaging their wedding, and Rick believes it's the least I can do after everything. Am I the asshole? This is another situation where it's so easy for everyone on the outside looking in, because it's not their house, and it's not their relationship that they are, messing around with, quote unquote. Surely with their couples counseling, Rick would have been told, hey, you either accept it or you don't, man. You don't really have a choice in this situation. Because if that was brought up in couples counseling, if he was like, yeah, I don't want OP at the wedding, but I still want to host it at his house, do you think I'm crazy for that, Mr. Couples Counselor? They'd probably say, yeah, that's an unreasonable request, and you'd be an asshole for continuing to push that. So Rick and his wife are really unreasonable in this situation, in my opinion. I'm gonna go with OP, not the asshole. If they want to try and pull this, screw them and screw their wedding. Not the asshole. Now in the comments, Pomdor says, Rick doesn't want to get married anymore, but doesn't want to be the bad guy breaking up with his fiancée. So he's put her in an impossible position so he can get the sympathy when they split. Not the asshole. Damn. Excellent insight. Rick is petty and passive-aggressive. And ridiculously insecure. Like, she's marrying you, dude, not her ex. Chill. I don't think it's insecure to not want the dude your fiancé was apparently in love with when you started dating to come to the wedding. To me, it would feel like I was second choice. Then again, I would also probably break things off if I found out my partner lied about something that important and also said things like that. Rick and fiancé are definitely the assholes though, for wanting to use his house after uninviting him. I wonder how their couples counselor would react to that news. It doesn't sound healthy. I think the bigger issue is not mentioning it, especially if it was a long-time thing. Like if Carla and OP hooked up once 10 years ago and never talked about it again, I wouldn't really expect Carla to bring it up. Obviously that wasn't the case. Separately, it's not that weird to have exes at your wedding, especially if it was a while ago and you're all in the same friend group, which from this post I think is the vibe. All of this together, the lie and the extended relationship, is a bad mix. I think Rick's jealousy is so intense because Carla didn't tell him, like she was hiding it. I think if she had told him when they first met, hey, me and OP used to date, but that's way in the past, I'm with you, then Rick would have no reason to not want him at the wedding in my opinion. But she didn't. She hid it. Which makes it 10 times worse. Not the asshole. What a weird request. Do you typically host wedding receptions on your property? He can go pay for a venue if he's going to act like that. If they even end up getting married, that is. And OP replies, only hosted a wedding once for my sister a couple years ago. It's stressful setting up and cleaning up after, even with a crew, so that's why I'd only do it for people I'm close to. They expect you to do that too? Audacity! And Grounded55 says, Rick believes it's the least I can do after everything. Rick is sick if he thinks A, his fiancée never dated anyone before him, B, she didn't stay friends with old boyfriends, and C, he can get someone's home as a wedding venue while not allowing the owners to attend the wedding. You're under no obligation to provide a free wedding venue to these people under these circumstances, because you have not, in fact, done anything wrong. I pity Carla if she marries this guy. Not the asshole. Our next post is by user SorryWife09871, titled, Am I the asshole for putting our nanny on the family membership instead of my wife? So I'm a father of 2 kids. Wife and I both work. She works considerably more than I do with less flexibility. She also has a ton of responsibility at her job, where even if it's her time off, if crap goes down, she has to handle it. So a few weeks ago, I took my kids to a local museum that they loved, so I joined for a membership. The membership is good for 4 people, you can add extras, but it costs more. I just did the 4, but instead of adding my wife as the other adult, I added our nanny. 9 out of 10 times, it's either me or our granny taking the kids somewhere, so it made sense. My wife discovered it after looking on our account because the kids and nanny are going today, so she wanted to confirm the membership was good. It hurt her feelings, and I suppose she chose to take it out on me with anger. She didn't like my answer for why I did it, and kept saying that it says a lot that I just put our nanny in the mum slot instead of paying the extra $15 for her to be in there too. I'm gonna go with you're the asshole for this one. If it was only $15 for the nanny to be in there too, and you're screwing your wife over $15, then yes, you do suck. You know your wife, and you know that if she was going to go looking into this account, you should know that she's going to be upset because you know her better than all of us. So that tells me that this was an intentional action and you value saving $15 over your wife's emotions. You're the asshole. Now in the comments, Just the Bean says, You're the asshole mostly for doing this behind her back. As a nanny, I've been added to family memberships before, and occasionally in place of a parent. However, I would never allow that to happen without the other spouse's knowledge and consent. You lied by omission, and she had to find out while looking at the credit card statement. That is where you fundamentally screwed this up. I have to ask, is making your wife feel this way really worth saving $15? This was my stance too. It could have been not the arsehole if he'd talked about it with his wife and she said, nah, put the nanny on the membership, that makes sense. But otherwise, it's just weird and rude. So OP is the arsehole, and they have a nanny, so one could reasonably infer they can afford an extra $15. $15 is likely cheaper than a one-time adult admission, so even if the wife only went one time, it would still be worth it financially. Even if the wife never went, $15 for peace at home and not making your wife feel like crap is worth it financially. Because that's the kind of thing that starts a boulder rolling downhill towards a divorce or therapy or a special couples trip. You're the arsehole. Was going not the arsehole until the extra cost was $15. You have a full-time nanny, both work, and that was too much money? Dude, for that amount I can understand her being upset. How can you be married to a working mom and not realize what happens? Mums have to deal with struggles of splitting that time, feeling less than in all situations. If she tells them at work she can't go in because of family and kids, she's not a dedicated employee. If she can't be at Junior's basketball game or take him to the museum because of work, she's a bad mum. They can't win. So while completely unintended, by saving that $15, she feels you basically told her that she's never there for her kids. Translation, a bad mum. Nice. Throw yourself on a sword and apologize profusely and make it up to her, whatever it takes. No assholes here. Your choice is 100% logical, but that museum membership has the word family or mum slot/spot in it, making the topic somewhat sensitive. Maybe it could have been better if your wife had previous knowledge of your cost-saving plan, but now it's too late, so the best you can do is try to give her some space and then communicate with her. Your wife's anger is probably justified considering your description of her pressure at work. Would suggest that you not take her words personally. I wish you the best. And edits, I wanted to address a few things that fellow Redditors pointed out. I agree that a completely logical choice with the objective of saving money disregards emotions in this case, but communication with people to solve problems is what matters in the present to me. I assumed that the $15 situation is a monthly cost. Yes, it was an assumption based on membership models in my country around me. Over the months in a year, it costs a huge amount for people like me. Our next post is by user College Fund House, titled, "Am I the asshole for letting our son use his untouched college fund as a down payment on a house and not using it to pay off our daughter's student loans?" So our son just graduated college. He was extremely studious in high school and was able to get a full scholarship to the school of his choice. The college fund we saved for him therefore went untouched. Our daughter is a couple years older than our son, and despite our best efforts, she was never the greatest student. So while she was able to go to college, she received no scholarship money. The college fund we saved for her, which actually amounted to a little more than we saved for our son, covered about half her tuition, with loans making up the rest. Our son did extremely well in college and graduated with a great job. We therefore decided to gift him his college fund to use as a down payment for a house, and with the stock market gains over the last 4 years, it's grown quite a bit since he went off to school. Our daughter was furious when she found out that our son's college fund went towards him buying a house. She said that he's already way ahead of her in life, since he graduated debt-free with a much better paying job than our daughter's, and it's not fair to put him even further ahead. She maintains the fair thing to have done is to have put our son's fund towards paying off her loans. Both my husband, our son, and I think our daughter is being entitled, but she told some of our extended family how unfair we're being, and they're taking her side. Are we somehow the unfair ones here? I personally don't think so. I think if your son earned a scholarship and was able to get through on his own, he's fine then. Now that's just me reading in between the lines, but I'm guessing if you did have a college fund and he got a scholarship, he's going to use that for a house afterwards, since that's money for him, and she had money for her, and she in fact had more money than him in her college fund. I do think she got more of her fair share than his, and I think she's just looking for free money in this situation. If you wanted to be quote-unquote fair, which I don't think it is fair, you could give her that money to help pay off her loans. But you don't have to, of course, and I don't think you're morally in the wrong if you don't do so. So I'm gonna go not the asshole here. Now in the comments, I'm inclined to say not the asshole. This is a classic fair versus equal issue. Fair would say that both kids graduate debt-free, so long as you have the money to do so, i.e., everyone gets what they need regardless of who needs more, while equal would say that each kid gets the same amount regardless of need. Neither is wrong, and given your kids aren't owed a college fund, you're actually being very generous. It's really up to you whether you choose to be fair or to be equal. You choose equal, each kid gets their own fund, and that is completely valid. Most wills choose equal too, giving each child the same amount regardless of who needs it more. My parents chose fairness, leaving their money to their social worker son rather than their daughter married to a well-paid executive. But needs changed, and he left her, cleaning out their account. He did have to share assets eventually, but she did not get alimony. Have to be married for 20 years in my state, and her standard of living is now lower than her brother's. Not the asshole. You had the same amount of money earmarked for each kid. Your daughter isn't entitled to more because she struggled more. You were perfectly fair giving them the same amount, and they used it the way each of them needed to. Actually, they said they saved up more in the daughter's funds. That's probably just because the daughter is older and also benefited from a healthy stock market. $100 a month over 22 years doesn't always result in the same return, depending on the market conditions of the start and finish dates. No assholes here. Although gifting your son money that was earmarked for college for a different purpose was likely going to lead to your other child feeling shafted. But you already told him that he could have it, so it is what it is. I don't even think it's entitlement. She probably did her best, you didn't mention that she screwed around in school, and has the burden of debt. So it's going to be difficult to watch her brother not have any debt and get a house. As a parent, I would have prioritized both my kids getting through school with the same amount of, or no debt. And then, if I gift them anything for a house, it would also be equal amounts. The fact that one kid was academically gifted and got scholarships wouldn't have factored in. It's a bit like punishing the average one for being average. It sounds like she didn't do her best, as per one comment from OP. Quote, "No, not a typo. My husband and I both tried to get our daughter to take school more seriously, but she was simply more interested in having fun in high school. It pains me to say it, but we do not think she tried her hardest in school." OP mentioned in another comment that daughter also refused cheaper options like community college for the first 2 years and then university, despite years of the parents explaining that the fund saved would only cover 2 years at uni, and that the kids would need to make up the difference. I'm going with not the asshole. I know the daughter wasn't old enough to fully understand the implications of her decisions, but the parents did their level best to prepare her. I can't take that comment from OP without a grain of salt. Some people really misunderstand the difference and massive advantage someone gets for being academically gifted. An average kid working twice as hard could still come up short. In my teaching career, I've seen so many parents of a gifted kid with a not-so-gifted younger child misunderstand their differences. Not the arsehole. The goal of college funds isn't to have complete equity of outcomes, it's to provide the same resources to each child. Kids will have different scholarships or different priced schools, and that will impact how far their funds go. Presumably, you do the same for your daughter if the situation was flipped. And our next post is by user Minori Haku, titled, "Am I the arsehole for ruining my sister's surprise party?" So I, 20 female, have a younger sister, today 19 female, who I'm not close with. She lives with my mum and I live with my boyfriend. We didn't get along for a long time now, but I didn't think we hate each other. I love her, as she is my sister, but we are not close due to me lying to her when I was a teenager. She always told everything to our parents, so I stopped sharing things with her. 3 days ago, my boyfriend and I asked my mum if my sister will have any kind of birthday celebration, as we had got her gifts. She said no, we're not doing anything. So we agreed that I'll drop off her present, which I did. So yesterday I found out, due to a mutual friend, that there will be a celebration. I was devastated, angry, and just generally sad that my mother lied to me about this. I thought my sister knew too. I told this to my boyfriend and he got mad, writing a long text to my sister about how he sees me suffering for the past year now and that she really could explain why they both hate me this much. She wrote to me about this and I told her I didn't know that he would send that text, but that I'm hurt that Mum would lie about this party. As the title suggests, she did not know. I told her I'm sorry about ruining it, but I obviously didn't know. She told me to go screw myself. Not only due to the party, but because I claimed I love her. She told me Mum probably didn't invite me because I mean nothing to her. Mum later told me that she didn't lie. She just invited people who they hang out with more often, and that I ruined the surprise. So Reddit, am I the asshole for ruining my sister's surprise party? Edit, because it keeps coming up, I did not know that my boyfriend would text her. I told him not to after I found out. I did also talk to my mum, it's in the post, who said she didn't invite me because I'm not in their friend group. I would have been okay not going, as I'm not a party animal myself, but the lie bothered me. And edit 2, because someone said I should add, 1. I lied to my sister because she was unable to keep my secrets and I did not trust her after a while. 2. My sister and mother to this day think I lied about being sexually abused when I was 17. 3. Mutual friends did not know that it was a surprise party or just assumed I did know and didn't tell. 4. We have not lived together for a year now. We don't really meet outside of work. 5. This isn't a new issue. She never gets me presents while I always do. Never asks about my life while I always did, etc. 6. We've decided to cut our relationship with them. If I come out to you're the asshole, everyone sucks here, or not the asshole, that will not change that, as I have no access to psychological help to deal with their constant bashing. Calling me my new stepmother's pet, for example, and I want to minimize it. Now in the comments, the final frontier says, you're the asshole. Instead of checking with your mother who lied to you, you decided to unleash your boyfriend on your sister for something she didn't even do. Naturally, OP edits the post because she's not getting enough sympathetic responses. Her relationship with her family is crap because she lies and she wants pity points. I hate the attitude that edits, which add detail making a post more sympathetic, must be lies. The edits are consistent with the original post anyway. You're the asshole. You assumed the worst of your sister, and instead of talking to her and having a mature conversation, you let your boyfriend send a nasty text that ruined the surprise. Not the asshole. 1. Opie lied to her sister because she was a frickin' blabbermouth. Like none of you ever lied to a sibling because they couldn't keep their mouth shut. 2. Opie's out being called a liar because she didn't share every waking thought with her sister when the mum's the only one who seemed to have lied in this post, as when asked directly about a party, she blatantly lies and says sister isn't having one, and when confronted, said that Opie wasn't in their friend group. And 3. Your sister is overreacting. When told about a party that she didn't know was happening, she gets upset and says that OP wasn't invited because she means nothing to her? 4. Not the asshole. And back to the post, there's a big update edit that OP adds and says, thanks to everyone who took the time to read the post and answered my question. I did not get closer to knowing if I was the asshole. The post itself got tagged you're the asshole, but most answers I saw were everyone sucks here. I also got many not the asshole, so it definitely was not an easy thing to decide it seems. I cut ties with my sister in any way that is outside of work and work parties. I told her in a long text that I'm sorry she feels this way, but she has no right to decide how I feel, and that if she thinks she's better off hating on me, then she can do as she wishes. I told her that my boyfriend was not in the dark about our relationship, as she originally had assumed. He just understands me, as she has never even tried to. After this, I met with my mother today at work. We did not address the problem, but I decided to keep it social. I love her, and it's not as easy for me to stop loving people as some commenters suggested, but I will try to make myself understand that them being like this to me is not my problem. Not accepting a gift makes it not your gift. I talked to my boyfriend and told him firmly that he should not try to solve my problems for me. Well, not in an invasive way anyway. He completely understood and said he was sorry, that he just felt so helpless seeing me suffer over and over again. To those people who assumed I'm a crazy, lying, manipulative person, I understand that you may have misunderstood the post, but I did try to explain in the comments that my lies were purely to protect myself from my family and from my sister using the information to hurt me. She had the habit of telling people these private things when she wanted me to feel bad. But eventually, she would always tell and get me in trouble. Thanks for all the comments and have a good day. Alright guys, that's the end of the video. Friendly reminder that I'm now posting daily on my second channel, Markee 2. If you want to laugh at memes with me, link is down in the description below. On phone, you just click that little arrow underneath the video. I also want to say thank you to all my channel members and Patreon subscribers. Your names are currently floating down the screen here, and I love to see all of you guys. Thank you for joining me on this journey. Thank you for supporting me. I really appreciate it. If you see yourself on screen, I want you to give yourself a big pat on the back for being amazing as always, and thank you for supporting me again. I do hope that you guys have a good day, night, sleep, whatever it is you're up to. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.